Back for some more lines in the coordinate plane. So again, more algebra stuff that you guys have seen last year, but again, important things that will be on the quizzes and tests for this unit. Slope-intercept form. Again, you guys know it. You've seen it. You have to know it. Point-slope form. Another one that you've seen, may not be as familiar with, but again, you need it, especially with some of these problems that we're going to look at. Okay. So again, with slope or point-slope form, this y, this x, they never move. Just like the y and the x never move in there. You plug things in for the y1, the m, and the x1. So just make sure you know that, you know what this looks like. You will not be given these formulas. Write the equation in point-slope form. Okay, so look at what it's asking for. You need a point and you need a slope. So if we look at number 1, we have 2 points to choose from. We don't have a slope. So the first thing we need to do is find a slope, which is what we did in the previous video. So slope is going to be 22 minus 14 over negative 8 minus a negative 2. With slope, you need to be super careful with your negatives. So we're going to have 8 over plus a positive. That's going to give us negative 6. Always reduce. So there's our slope. Okay. Once you have a slope, pick a point to use. So I'll pick this one. So point-slope form requires us to do this. Okay. From that, we're going to just plug in on whatever we have. So y always stays there, minus y1, so in this case it's 14, equals negative 4/3 times x minus a negative 2, so that means I need to make it plus 2. And you're done. Don't have to go any farther than that. Okay, the second one, you have negative 2, 0, and 0, negative 1. So again, here's your 2 points that you can use. Find your slope and then pick one of your points to put it back in point-slope. Make sure you have this one done for tomorrow. Okay, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so pay attention to what that says. We have a slope we need the intercept, the y-intercept. So we can't just write y equals 1/3 x plus 8 because that's not the y-intercept. So what we need to do is a little bit of work. Okay, so the way we're going to look at this, we're going to start in point-slope form anytime you want to get to slope-intercept form. Okay, so you always have to start in point-slope form when in doubt. So what we'll do is we already have a point, we already have a slope. So let's go ahead and put in point-slope form first. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, plug everything in because we already have the information we need. Okay, minus a negative 3 makes it plus 3 again. Distribute. So we're going to turn it now into slope-intercept form. So this is point-slope. We got to keep going to make it point-slope or slope-intercept form. So we have y minus 8 equals 1/3 x. Distribute. 1/3 times 3, or 3 over 1. That'd be 1 times 3 is 3. Over 3 times 1 is 3. So that gives us a positive 1. Add 8 to both sides. Y equals 1/3 x plus 9. Okay. So again, when in doubt, start in point-slope form, then distribute and move your number over to get to slope-intercept form. So in number 4, another one that I'm going to ask you guys to do, you need to first find the slope. So in 3 we were given the slope right away. You need to do your little slope formula and then choose either one of these points for your point that you're going to plug in. So you need to make sure you have a point and a slope. Get it to where we got it here, plug it in, and find your way all the way to slope-intercept form. Okay, vertical lines. Vertical lines are pretty simple. If you think about the XY axis, vertical line is going to look like this. Okay, so what that means is we'd have to count over however many we needed to on the X axis. So vertical lines are always going to be X equals. If it's a horizontal line, that's a y equals problem. Okay, so you would count up to that y and then count over. So a lot of times people get mixed up with those. Make sure you know which one's which. You can always draw a little sketch to remind yourself. Complete the chart. Okay, so just making sure we can go back through this. Details. So parallel slope. Okay, so that means it's the same slope. So if we had, like, we could say for this example we're going to use our main slope, we'll say is 2 for this entire chart. Okay, so parallel is the same, so an example would be, okay, that's the tough one, and it's the same thing. Intersecting just means that it's anything besides parallel or perpendicular. I'm just going to abbreviate that so we can fit. So as long as it's not parallel or perpendicular, then you're fine. Okay, so intersecting would be like if we had a slope of 4. Those are going to intersect at some point. Or negative 1/3, or anything but 2, or negative 1/2. Perpendicular is going to be opposite, reciprocal. And the way that would look, again, if our example is 2, would be m equals negative 1/2. You flip it, and it's the opposite. So it's opposite reciprocal, negative 1/2 instead of 2/1. The same line means everything has to be the exact same. So this is pretty easy. So if we had example like y equals 2x plus 1, our slope is still 2, we would have to have the same line as y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, so that would be the exact same line. So with that being said, let's look at a couple of examples. Determine whether the lines are given, or the lines given are parallel, perpendicular, or the same line. Okay, so what we need to do is always get it into this form. So let's look at a couple. X minus 5, y equals 0. Okay, well that's not ready to go yet. So let's go ahead and subtract x from both sides. So negative 5y equals negative x. Divide by negative 5, y equals 1/5 x. Okay, there's 1. Do the same thing for the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and make this y plus 1 equals 1/5 x plus, again, you can make it 5/1. So that would be 1 times 5 is 5, over 5 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5/5 is 1. Subtract 1. Y equals 1/5 x plus 0. Okay, so look at these two. And if you look at them, they have the same slope, and they also have, we didn't write it down here, I just moved it, but you could write that this was plus 0. It's the same thing as not having anything there. So these are the same lines. Okay? Number 7, do the same thing. So we have 2y plus 2 equals x. Subtract 2 from both sides. 2y equals x minus 2, and divide. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Okay, so that's one of our equations. Do the same thing again. So we have, what I'm going to do here is actually going to be one step. Since y is already on the right side, I'm just going to add one over here. So it's going to be 1 plus 1/2 x equals y, just going backwards. So flip it. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, here's this one. Now if you look at it, they have the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts. One's a negative 1, the other one's a positive 1. So we would just say that these are parallel. I want you guys to look at and try number 8. Decide if they're parallel, perpendicular, or the same line, looking at the slopes. Okay, a couple more different kind of problems to look at. Match the letter of each example to the correct form of a line. Alright, so point slope form. Look and see where that one is. I want you guys to make sure you know which one's which. Slope intercept form, horizontal line, vertical line. So just match them. Tell me what you come up with. Okay, shouldn't take you very long, but make sure you have these. If you need to, the notes are above for which one's which. But again, be careful with the horizontal and vertical line. The rest of them shouldn't be too bad. Okay, last couple. Find the slope of the line that passes through those 2 points. So a little bit of review. Okay, find slope. Again, I'll help you get started. Just practice, making sure you are careful with your negatives. Find the slope of 13. So I want you to try that one. Then you'll be able to tell me what the slope of the line is parallel to that. It's going to be pretty easy. Perpendicular, be quick, easy. And a little review again in 16. Okay, so with this one, got to be careful. This is one we went over the previous day's notes. Find the value of r such that the line formed by those 2 points has a slope of 2/3. So again, start with what you know. We're talking about slope. We're given 2 points. Go ahead and use your slope formula and plug everything in. Whatever you know, plug it in. So we have 2/3 is m equals 18 minus r over 9 minus -6. Okay, so let's simplify this a little bit. 2/3 equals 18 minus r over, okay, 9 minus -6 becomes plus a positive, so it's 15. Okay, so again, I would use proportion so that you don't have to deal with ones where you have to change the bottom number and all that. So proportions tell us to do this, so we're going to get 30 equals 3 times 18 minus r. Write that out if you need to on this step. 30 equals 54 minus r. Subtract 54. Negative 24 equals negative r. So r is 24. Just so we look at this, if we tried plugging it back in, we would do 18 minus 24 over 9 minus -6. Let's see what we get. So we get -6 over plus a positive 15. Oops, did I do something backwards here? Let's see, what did I do? Whoops, I see it. Hopefully you guys maybe even saw it before I did as I was going through this. I forgot to distribute the 3 to both spots. That's why we write in pencil. So let's go back to this step. 30 equals 54 minus 3r. There we go. Subtract 54 from both sides. So negative 24 equals negative 3r. Divided by negative 3, r is 8. It's a good example why you can go back and check your answers. Obviously I did something wrong in there. I saw my mistake, went back there, fixed it. It can happen, especially when you're working through these type problems where it seems easy but negatives can throw you off, or you can make a silly mistake like I just did. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check and see if we got it right. M equals 18 minus 8 over 9 minus -6. So it's going to be 10 over plus a positive 15. We could divide the top and bottom by 5. So it would reduce to 2/3. So that time is done correctly. Alright, again, a lot of review, things that I want to make sure you guys go over again, answer these questions. Basically, you're moving back and forth from slope-intercept form to point slope, making sure you know what parallel, perpendicular, all that is, okay, so you can recall it from last year. So again, a lot of review, but all stuff that you will see on a quiz and test. Alright, I will see you guys tomorrow.